Okay, let's talk about ratios. We'll do a ratio question because you always find them quite difficult. So let's say a group of students is playing Among Us in class. In one of the rounds, in fact, you can't just play Among Us in class, that's not good. That's not cool. Because they had an irresponsible teacher who was not as good as Teacher Matthew. That's better. Anyway, in one of the rounds, let's have a fraction. Let's say, where's my equations? Let's say 2/3 of the students voted for red. And let's have another equation. We'll say 3/8 of the students voted for green. No, capital G, green. The difference between the number of votes is, let's have another fraction. So the difference between the number of votes we will say is 7 out of 10. So then your question will be, how many students voted for green? There we go. So that's our question. A group of students is playing Among Us in class because they had an irresponsible teacher who was not as good as Teacher Matthew. In one of the rounds, 2/3 of the students voted for red and 3/8 of the students voted for green. The difference between the number of votes is 7 out of 10, or 7/10. How many students voted for green? So let's pick out our important things first. We've got this 2/3 here. Let's make that red. Let's make that red. And we've got this 3/8 here. I mean, we've done the red one red, so we might as well do this one green, huh? So we'll do this one green, and the other important thing here is this 7/10, which we will do blue. So these questions, they always have 3 important pieces of information you need to pick out. And there are probably going to be fractions too, so it's worth keeping an eye out for these. So let's put all our numbers together. Well, we'll put the first 2 together because that's all that's important right now. So we've got this one and we've got this one. Now we're going to need to make the tops the same on these. Let's just space those out a little bit. We're going to need to make the tops the same. So at the moment we've got a 2 and a 3. The easiest way to make those the same is to multiply them by each other. So we can multiply this 2 by 3 to give us 6, but then we need to do the same to the bottom. And 3 times 3 is 9. Now this 3 multiplied by 2 to give us 6, but we need to do the same to the bottom. So we multiply this 8 by 2 to give us 16. This is the part now where we would have to draw those diagrams that you all love so much. So let's just bring up the ones I did before. Lovely. Now you can see here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes in the top one and 16 boxes in the bottom one, which matches the numbers we have in our fractions here and here. So we need to colour in the top number. So this one we colour in 6 because we have 6 on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make these, where's the colouring in bit? Going mad. Ah, here we are. Make these black, and then, oh, maybe not black because we can't see our lines. Let's make them a darkish grey. And then here we will colour in 6. Hey look, they're the same, that's weird. So, that means that what we have left is the 7 out of 10. We know the difference between the number of votes is 7 out of 10. So this part here, if we merge that together, we know this part is equal to 7 out of 10. Ooh, let's not do that ever again. But we know this part is equal to 7 out of 10. Let's put it like this, 7 out of 10. From here, nope, here, to here. Oops, I did it again. Right, so from here to here is 7 out of 10, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. So we now know that 7 blocks is equal to 7 out of 10. We need to know what 1 block is worth. 1 block. Oh, we're blue. Check that out. Black, please. Right, 1 block. So if we know that 7 blocks is 7 out of 10, we want 1 block. To get from 7 to 1, we divide by 7. So we can do the same thing with our fraction, to go from 7 out of 10 to 1 over 10. So we know that 1 block is 1 over 10. Now your question was, how many people voted for green? So if 1 block is 1 out of 10, and how many people voted for green? How many blocks? If you want to count those, there's 16 blocks there. So 16 blocks voted for green. So to go from 1 block to 16 blocks, we can times by 16. So we do the same thing to our fraction. So instead of 1 over 10, we have 16 over 10, which is a top-heavy fraction. Don't we love top-heavy fractions? So we need to change that into a not top-heavy fraction. First things first, we can simplify. 16 over 10, we can simplify. Both parts will divide by 2 because they're both even, to give us 8 over 5. Let's just pop an equal sign in here just to make it a bit neater. Yeah, equals 8 over 5. Will it simplify anymore? I don't think it will, but it is top heavy. So let's change that. So we had 8 over 5. So how do we stop that from being top heavy? Well, 5 will go into 8 one time. We can only get 1 full one, which then, if we take 5 away from 8, gives us 3. It's 1 and 3 over 5 students voted for green. So maybe the example wasn't ideal because this is like 1 and a part of a student. But the point is, this is how you would get your answer. So your answer for this, even if it sounds strange, is technically, let's grab that, is technically 1 and 3 over 5 students. Don't ask how they got that number. Maybe somebody got cut into parts.